Bamboo is the fastest growing evergreen plant from the grass family. Some types of bamboo can grow up to 20 to 40 inches in only one day. During World War II, the Japanese used this plant to torture their prisoners. They would tie a victim above a young bamboo shoot, and the fast-growing and sharp plant would penetrate the prisoner's body, eventually growing through. This method of execution was
named Ling Chi, which translates to slow slicing. The victim was tied to a tree in a public place, and the executioner would start by slicing the victim's fingers and toes, moving to hands, feet, ears, nose, and eventually cutting off whole limbs. After all of that, the convict would be killed by a stab to the heart.
This method was also used as a spiritual punishment, because according to Confucius, if the body wasn't whole, the soul also wouldn't be whole.
Colombia, also known as La Violencia, there was a method of execution so terrifying it instilled fear into the hearts of all. This method was the infamous Colombian necktie. The executioner would first make an incision under the convict's chin using a blunt knife and then pull out his tongue, leaving him to choke to death. The next method comes from the end of the 18th century. It's an iron cabinet designed so that a person can stand inside of it. It had a small door loaded with sharp spikes on the inside, usually made of nails or knives. This brutal device was called the Iron Maiden, so it's not surprising that a famous British heavy metal group decided to use it as the name of their band. The device was used for interrogation and torture of suspects so they would confess their crimes. When the victim was inside of the cabinet, the executioners would close the door. However, the torture didn't stop there, because their spikes were designed so that their sharp tips couldn't pierce through the vital organs. In that way, the victim would stay alive and die slowly unless they answered executioners' questions. Most of the victims didn't even get to confess, since they would bleed to death too quickly.